What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another special creator interview of Hops Geek News, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows. And today, man, we got a good friend coming back. Zack Kaplan is with us again. We are going to be talking about Kill All Immortals. As you know, that's something I've been raving about when it was coming out over last year. Wrapped up its first arc. We're going to dive into it a little bit here. And then we also have a fun little special announcement of some more comic books that he's got coming out. So please go to Hops Geek News. Social media, that's where we're at on all of those fun apps. And then on any podcasting platform, share with a friend, share with your dog, your grandma. I don't care who it is. Play it for whomever. That's where you can find us. So without further ado, Zack, welcome back to the show, man.
Hey,
how have things been for you?
Good. Things have been good. I've been busy, but
yeah, it's a good busy.
It's good busy. It's good. Busy problems are better. So yeah, it's been great.
Nice. Now, we briefly, I feel like we've gotten to talk about, Beyond Real is when we first got to chat with you. And then we chatted a few months ago in the middle of Kill All Immortals, but it has recently wrapped up. And this was stellar. I really enjoyed it. It was Severance meets John Wick was how it was pitched. So why don't you kind of give a brief intro?
Yeah,
Succession, that's what it was. We were just talking about Severance before the show. So Severance was on my mind.
It's like Succession meets John Wick with immortal Vikings. And I guess if you're listening, you are not familiar with the series. It follows a family of Vikings that 1,000 years ago discovered a secret form of immortality. And now modern day, they've become a billionaire banking empire like you would see right out of Succession. The only difference is they're barbaric Vikings and they're using murderous tactics to stay in power. And the only daughter, Frey Aswald, finally wants out. And so it's just jam-packed with action, and it's a real kind of fun character drama following this young woman as she's trying to kind of discover her identity and figure out what she wants in life and how she wants to reconcile with the family's activities. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's my most bloody, violent action comic that I've done, and just had a blast. So
now going to that, because each issue I felt like had a very gory, action-packed, like quite a bit of scenes. So how does that work with the artist when you have so many pages that aren't dialogue, they're just sheer fighting? You just say like, oh, just make a beautiful splash. Because I mean, the art's absolutely gorgeous and I love all the Viking themes with it. Or are you more like, okay, this page needs to do this and I want this specific, somebody to get stabbed right here. Like how specific are you in the instructions to the artist?
Yeah, so I'm working, my co-creator is Fico Ossio, who has done Creator-Owned No One Left to Fight, but now he's a real rising star at DC. He just did Black Lightning. He was on Mr. Miracle. He's done a ton of DC stuff. Several more. And I think he's doing something Batman related right now for them. So he's just been absolutely killing it. And action and these kind of frenetic fight sequences is just in his DNA. And so I haven't gone Marvel style with my scripts. I kind of write what is happening, especially when there's a lot of characters that we're kind of balancing. But I'm lucky that I get to trust that I can put it over to his hands and he just makes it all come to life. And then Thiago Rocha is our colorist, who is also just incredible. I mean, he designed this cool way of accentuating how intense the action gets. And some of the panels will kind of go yellow, gold, and some of them will go red, depending on kind of how intense the action is. So it's a great way the colors kind of crescendo, the excitement of those action sequences. And then I've said this kind of before, I love collaborating with my fellow creators on a comic book. So there's a lot of back and forth in email or a occasional Zoom where we're just trying to talk about what we want out of it. So we put a lot of heart and energy into making sure that the action just really kicks ass. It's just such a cool premise. And then if you're going to pitch something that's like, if I'm going to be out there saying it's like John Wick, the action's got to
you got to deliver.
Oh,
yeah, I got to deliver. We got to deliver. So, yeah.
Well, and obviously with Vikings too, that's always a violent story, no matter what. I've never heard a Viking story that wasn't violent, unless you want to count like Anna and Elsa, and even that got pretty dark, man. Hans got
I don't
real dark
know.
real
Prince
quick.
Han was kind of an a-hole, all right.
Yeah. So yes. Okay. So I stand corrected. But what inspired you to do so much of that Viking Norse mythology, to sprinkle that in there?
Well, the whole story is kind of a metaphor for the billionaire class and kind of how wealth and power in our world have become immortal, essentially, that we just see, families and people just continue to absorb more and more power, and it doesn't die. And so it was kind of, I knew that I wanted to explore immortality in that form. And I didn't know initially, when I was just playing with this idea, what heritage the family would come from. But Vikings made the most sense in terms of just the barbaric nature that just seemed to connect to where we are with business nowadays. The business just seems to be so okay, to be so cutthroat, and the victor, the spoils go to the victor. Might is right. Like, it just feels like it's gotten, in the real world like that. It's just business is barbaric, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So what better way to show that than with a family of actually barbaric Vikings?
Right.
And then the fun is, you take that barbaric energy that they have, and you expect to see them day to day that way. But then we chose to kind of find this really modern, sexy aesthetic where they're all dressed up in like fancy suits.
Yeah, they're like fancy and proper.
They're fancy and proper, and they're chill, like right out of something, like right out of Secession. It just so happens they're tatted up and they've got, Viking braids,
the hair and the braids,
and all that stuff. But that's, I think, the fun is seeing the duality between that modern aesthetic, and then showing them let loose in action.
I believe my daughter's a history major, and I believe she actually told me that Vikings were notoriously known for actually being clean. Like, they were more of the like hygienic people back in the day. I mean, they were literally cutthroat, but they were very clean. But I think that's a great comparison too, because it's like, when you have all the money in the world, you don't value a dollar. If you have all the life in the world, you don't value a life. So that's a great kind of comparison.
Yeah,
sad too and scary, but great comparison.
We did the whole series, and all the covers are collected into the graphic novel that's coming out. But we had this fantastic cover artist, Oliver Barrett, that did every cover.
The covers were great.
Yeah, like a GQ. It was all like a GQ, basically, magazine cover with each of the characters on, and they're posed, and they're not swinging their weapon. They're just standing there looking chic with their prop, and they just happen to be covered in blood, after whatever just happened. So it's this kind of like you say, they don't care about the violence. They're untouched by, they're just removed emotionally from that, and then it comes off very kind of like high fashion modern. So it was a fun way to show some of these elements.
Right. And well, and seeing the relationship with the siblings, I kind of found that a little bit hilarious. Do you have siblings?
I have one, yeah.
Okay. And did you two grow up fighting?
Yeah, we did.
So I thought that was so funny, because like, if my brother and I were immortal, I feel like we would fight to the death.
Yeah.
My brother and I used to all the time would always be fighting or wrestling around, because he was in Taekwondo and stuff. So we'd always be out there just wrestling around, fighting each other. So 100%.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Even my kids like fight to the death. I swear they're just brutal to each other.
Oh, I got my brother so good on Easter with a confetti egg. He was standing by the front door. I went in through the garage, opened the door, smashed on his head, and ran away. This was 2 days ago.
Imagine if your kids were trained for like Viking combat, then you guys would,
I would be in trouble.
Yeah. I think that was kind of one of the interesting things to take on, because like, we have the aesthetic is clear. We know we've got some killer action sequences, and then going in as a writer and really trying to build out those relationships and make it feel complex and make it feel like there's history. And, Frey is put in a position where she's against her family, but she also doesn't want to totally just destroy her family. She also kind of loves her family. She's against what they're doing, but there are parts of the story where she wants to save them and she wants to help them. And it's not as black and white as just, I'm going to kill all my family and then I'm free. It's it's harder than that, which it should be harder than that, because that's what family's all about. Family is complicated. So
Right.
it was I think that it was fun to look at how she has a different relationship with each of her brothers. So she has 3 brothers. One is the might guy, is his name's Thor. He's the mountain of a man. Then the main brother is Leaf. He's like the perfect poster boy. And then Stein is the youngest, the reckless one of the family. And so they each have kind of different personalities, and then they each have different relationships with her. And so it was fun to kind of explore all that.
Nice. Now, how much research went in for you? Because you pull a lot of like deep cuts of history throughout this entire 5-run arc. You take us time traveling almost during modern times. So what kind of research went into it on the whole entire team's end?
A lot. So spoiler alert, if you're listening, you're like, I'm hooked and I don't want to know any more, then there you go. But one of the main twists that we hear earlier on, I think this was in some of the even preview copy on the book, but the family is Eric the Red. And this is Frey's father is the famous Viking explorer and warlord and barbarian Eric the Red. And he did have 4 adult children. Their names were Thor, Leaf, Thorstein, and Frey. And she was the only daughter. And they were banished initially from Norway, and they set up shop in Greenland and Iceland. And then they had certain periods of time where they were marauding and this and that. So I did look at their history and their heritage, and I did kind of try to study Viking culture a bit and kind of steep myself in that period of time, just so it felt authentic enough as to what was going on with all of them. So, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, I've always been into Vikings. I've been into Vikings it's for forever, and I especially loved that the Viking show that was on AMC like a decade and a half ago. I mean, that was just absolutely fantastic. And so that was always in my mind. I went back and watched some more of that as I was developing this and did some research. The premise and so what's interesting is the Vikings, they discover immortality. They discover the secret, and I'm not going to blow the secret, but they find something, and they believe, being 1,000 years ago, they believe that what they found was a fallen goddess, and that's so I had to do my research steeped in Viking mythology and this real story about that Loki and Thor found a fallen goddess that was the goddess of immortality. It was a fable that I took and kind of said it wasn't them, it was this family that this happened to. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to kind of explore the Viking history and lore. But we didn't want to go. We wanted it to be present, but we also wanted this to be a modern book. We didn't want to. It was a tightrope in trying to give it enough of that so that you feel like there's depth to the backstory here. But we're in modern times, and this is about their struggles now.
Well, I think you guys did a really good job with that, because, I mean, at no point did you feel like, oh, we are focused on the past. It was all about, hey, this is what's happening now, especially as their dad was so focused on the family and money and keeping it together. But you could tell there's a lot of internal conflict within the siblings and loyalty there, especially with Frey. And she happened to be one of the most badass, one of my favorite characters, obviously, from the story, which I know you guys have been picked up for another arc. Are we going to get to see more of her?
Yeah. So we're really excited that the series has been promoted to be an ongoing series, and we'll be coming back with the next chapter, so to speak, at the end of summer. And it is not, this is not an anthology series. We are going to focus on Frey and her family and what happens next, what happens after this chapter in their lives. And if you read the first season or series or whatever, the first volume of it, like that's coming out, this chapter is closed very much, but there's so much more that is left to go. Oh wow, there's more to come, and so we're very excited to just. If you're going, I wonder where this is going. I think it's kind of going in some ways exactly where you think it's going. If you read the last few pages of volume 1,
they definitely make some enemies, especially being immortal. Like you don't go 1,000 years without making enemies. And then I think what you did a really good job of is teasing that there is a larger world. There's a lot more and a lot of other various cultures that come into play, very much so.
That's right. We're being spoiler sensitive here, but when I appreciate, but there's the world of where they came from, where their immortality came from, and what else lies in this supernatural pantheon. That's the fun about getting to go to another chapter of the story, is we get to expand all of that and really kind of blow it wide open and kind of say, like, the first chapter was all about this family here, and now it goes wide. And so I'm so excited. We're working on the second arc right now, and I cannot wait for everybody to see what we've got cooking. It's just awesome. So very excited to keep this story going. It's when I got into comics, my very first comic was called Eclipse. This was an Image Top Cow book about 9 years ago now. And I was very fortunate enough. It did very well. And I ended up doing that for 4 volumes. And then the next one after that was called Port of Earth. And I did that for 3 volumes. So my first 2 right out of the gate were kind of longer form storytelling that I took for long periods of time. And after being with 2 stories for like 3 years, I was so hungry to do like a lot of different things. So everything since then has been miniseries. I've done like all miniseries across the board. So this is the first book in many years for me that I've said, no, this is the one that I want to keep going and spend some more time with this character, with this family, in this world, and give readers more of this. So just very excited about it.
So we can expect a 3rd arc and a 4th arc, and
that's the plan is that we have, as long as we don't mess it up. As long as we don't mess it up, we're ongoing, and I think we would at least take it 3 arcs. That's the goal, and then I think we'll just have to see where we're at. If we don't mess it up, then for sure we would go 3.
No pressure or anything like that.
I can't. I mean, no one picks it up, and I go, oh, whoops! Everyone hates the second arc. Never mind. But
so far, I mean, you guys we're a top seller, so there's a reason why you're picked up, which shows that people are hungry for it.
I'm hopeful, but I try not to like be braggadocious and just like, hey, of course we're going 50 and no. But
LeBron James, not 1, not 2, but 6.
Oh gosh,
I win the championship. Yes. But listen, when Kobe would win the championship, he would just hold up. He would say 3 rings. So he just focused on the next one, So I'm just focused on the next one, and then when the next one's a hit, we'll focus on the next one. But I think that it has a lot of legs, and I think that one of our goals was, we saw the success of Something Is Killing the Children. We saw the success of seeing a strong female protagonist who kicks ass, who has some just exciting action, but then has a tremendous amount of emotional depth and world to explore. And so we certainly went, okay, this is different, a different type of story, but we want to do a lot of the same things. We want to give readers a connection to this character and someone that they can go, I go back. I would keep coming back to visit her again and again and visit wherever she's going. So that's our hope. We'll see.
Yeah, I could see that. Frey and Erica are both very lone wolves who beat to their own drum kind of fighters. And I see that.
Well,
and there's a larger existential kind of question for each of them. And certainly for Frey, she's torn because she wants to be, she doesn't want this pressure of being extraordinary and being immortal and having to, who wants that? She wants to be human. She doesn't want to
live a normal life.
She wants to do good, but she just wants to be, she doesn't want to have to be cutthroat and kill people and go to war and be barbaric like this. She doesn't want to be a Viking. She wants to be a modern woman, but I don't know if the world will let her. She is a Viking. Yeah, I don't know if the world will let her. So that's her. And I feel like that's a very modern struggle that we all kind of face right now, because like the world's upside down. And so we're all torn. On the one hand, we all kind of just be like, can we just be normal? Can we just have our lives
for 5 minutes?
Yeah, can I just escape all this? but then you're kind of like, oh man, or am I supposed to like do something about these?
Right.
Like,
I can't have my head in the sand.
I can't.
But my mental health is important too.
Yes. So I feel like I relate to that, and I try to do that, and I feel like that's just very like, or wanting to be ordinary and wanting an ordinary life, but then wanting to have control over where the world goes and wanting to see good things happen to people. Those feel like they're against each other, and so it's interesting to see a character facing.
100%. And now this summer, actually, speaking of, is a big summer for you. You got a couple things coming out. So, as of last week, tomorrow when we're recording this, but as of last week, you have something new launched. So why don't you take us into the world of, Masterminds?
Yes. Speaking of modern. So I have a new series with Dark Horse Comics. It's called Masterminds. It's the same creative team that I worked with on The Midnight Shadows. If anybody saw that book I did, was a partnership with one of the largest synthwave bands in the world. It was an absolutely breathtaking book, and I knew immediately I had to work with Stephen Thompson and Thiago Rocha, who's my colorist on Kill All Immortals as well. So same colorist, but completely different style. And Masterminds is the smartest secret society that exists. And there's a real thing called the Mastermind Circle. And the Mastermind Circle has been around for a couple hundred years. It's basically this kind of elite group of powerful people that agree that they're going to help each other get ahead by any means necessary. And they all work together in secret to help each other get ahead.
You know what, Zach, you're getting too close to real life right now. I know. We just talked about this.
So this is about the one of the smartest, or the smartest mastermind circle secret society called Masterminds, and we're giving everybody the chance to join their elite calling, essentially, and to do so you have to play their game. Essentially, they have a sort of a Squid Games kind of experience, but in the real world, of riddles and puzzles and challenges. And if you're smart enough to survive, then you can be in Masterminds. And yeah.
Is this, there's going to be like actual games that we're going to play along with? Is this like an interactive comic book?
I
know, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, can we solve the puzzles while we read it?
There will be some meta components to it that if you're reading, you can kind of quasi play along. But it is a serialized story about a kind of a programmer who's an ambitious programmer who is trying to make his way in the world, and his trial into this society. So it follows a character, but certainly we're hoping that everybody will come on board to see if, because it is full of puzzles and riddles and challenges, and as readers read, I'm curious to see if they'll stop in the middle of their experience and see if they can figure it out before the character does.
That sounds exciting.
I like that. Like Die Hard 3 or Ready Player One kind of thing. It's
like those choose your own adventure books that you used to read growing up and everything like that. Only this one has a lot less, there's more dire consequences, it sounds like, to the people in this world, of course.
Yes. So, but I think we're working 9 to 5, hoping to get ahead. These don't seem like
the American dream.
Yeah, the American dream. I don't know that this isn't
the dream I was thinking of.
Yeah. So it's just another exploration of how cutthroat getting ahead has become, and how morality has seemed to slip by the wayside, and we're really willing to do whatever it takes. And
we've all seen your people's TikToks out there. We know you've abandoned morals a long time ago.
So we're going to have a lot of fun kind of exploring that. But yeah, it's an absolutely gorgeous book, and it's a mystery. It's a thriller. And we're really excited to let people come along for the ride.
How did this come up? Did you approach Dark Horse with this story idea? How did we get the team together for this?
Yeah, one? Right. I mean, even I think as we were wrapping up The Midnight Shadows, it was just such a pleasure to work with Steven and Thiago. We just kind of made such a team, and so I had immediately said to Dark Horse, I want to do more with this team, and I had this idea about this kind of secret society that plays a game, and you see who's the smartest to get in, and Dark Horse loved it, and we decided to run with it. We brought on Hassan.
Oh, man, he's
Spinello,
crushing it
who's
right now, yeah.
amazing. He's the amazing letterer on Kill All Immortals, and I've worked with him on many books, and he's lettering this. And we brought on Tom Moeller, who does the logo on Kill All Immortals, to do this logo as well. And it's really like wrapping a comic up in a David Fincher kind of film. It's got a real edgy noir sort of energy, really kind of mysterious, who can you trust, who's controlling who sort of vibe. It reminds me of some of the things I played with in Mindset, but Mindset was a mind control thriller, and this is kind of a different, but this is certainly a who can you trust thriller for sure. And can you survive?
I like that.
This? I want to read the puzzles and have you back on.
I'm excited.
Quiz or ask you about that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, not to paint myself into a corner, but I just have to come up with mastermind level.
Again, no pressure. I mean,
no pressure.
So for this, is it going to be an ongoing, or is it going to be like Kill All Immortals, where you start with 5 issues and we see where it goes?
This will almost certainly be a 5-issue miniseries experience. This is absolutely a more, never say never, but I envision this as more of a contained sort of experience.
Okay. I like that too. Yeah, so you're going to go balls to the wall, so to speak, and I can only imagine.
Yeah, that's the fun of doing something that's contained like this. Nothing's, no one's safe, and everything can happen. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Awesome. That's I can't wait to get that. I mean, this one comes out August of 2025.
Yes, yeah, August.
Issue?
Yeah, and we'll take the 5 issues through the year. So it'll be a binge worthy read for sure. Definitely, I think if you like kind of edgy thrillers and David Fincher things, and you want to see if you're smart enough to get into Masterminds yourself, then by all means.
I kind of do, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm not putting my life on the line.
People feel bad because they can't figure out the puzzles.
It's like, are you smarter than a 5th grader?
Yeah.
The capital of California. Oh man.
Oh, what?
It's not Los Angeles.
What is?
We don't have 51 states. What?
We do. Greenland.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
Oh my God. Or Canada. Which one? Any day of the week, I guess, but I'm really excited because one thing that you do extraordinarily well, if anybody has really read your stuff, is you take these really cool science fiction type, ideas and you run with them, and they're so good. Like I said, Beyond Real was the first introduction that we had with you, and that was a great comic run. And
that was simulation theory. Yeah, I like to, and it's kind of, I like to kind of think about something. Mind control. What's my mind control story? What's my immortality story? What's my simulation theory story? A book that I have that's just entering its 5th issue right now, Dark Empty Void with Mad Cave.
Yes.
Is about black holes. And it was just basically, what's my black hole story? And it was a cosmic horror thriller about black holes. And so I like to take an idea and just say, well, how would I build this in a kind of modern way? And so this idea was kind of secret societies, but not just secret societies. It was secret game playing, like the trope of the game, of playing that game to get into somewhere or something. So,
I can't wait to see who Elon Musk hires to play on his behalf in this upcoming run, of course. I'm really looking forward to this, man. And
thank you.
Hoping it's going to be so good.
We're very excited. It's going to be, it's absolutely stunning. It's going to be an absolute trip. And I think it's going to be really fun to let everybody kind of play along with the experience. And that's the fun of having a great thriller is trying to figure out, what's coming next and who can you trust, but then also trying to figure out if you can get into the society yourself it's a fun thing. So yeah, we're really excited. It's fun to have a dark, edgy, like to have a dark thriller where it's life or death, and then you have like a fun component to it. So yeah.
It's also probably, in a way it's therapeutic, especially with everything going on in the same time, and you get to play in your own world. That's why I love comic books. It's
For sure.
an escape, and it lets us dive into, and there's a lot of different comics for everybody out there. And this summer you have a lot of big things going on. Do you have any comic conventions that you're going to be going to? Any places that people are going to be able to find you?
Yeah, I just finished quite a run with Emerald City, WonderCon, and C2E2.
Those are the top. The Emerald City is such a fun show. Yeah,
so good. Emerald City's so good. I had a great time in Chicago. I will be at San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, as this is playing right now, I'm doing signing it in Los Angeles for Collector's Paradise for Kill All Immortals, and I have another one coming up at Things from Another World in a couple weeks in May. So I have a couple local things that are going on. I'll be at Free Comic Book Day at the Comic Bug. So I have a few things in Los Angeles going on. And then in terms of conventions, it'll probably be San Diego. I always love to try to make it up to Rose City in Portland. That's one of my favorite shows.
I've heard that's a good one. Yeah,
that's a great one. And then I always try to make it to New York Comic Con. So I imagine that those will be and certainly Rose City and New York are around the time that Masterminds will be coming out, and around the time that we'll probably have the next chapter of Kill All Immortals starting as well. So I'm excited about both of those. And I also, I can't talk about it, but I probably have one more book coming out this fall as well. So
it's going to be
determined. Yeah. So between all of that and Dark Empty Void will be coming out as a collected trade paperback in October, I want to say. So yeah, I've got a busy run.
Yeah, it's a busy year.
It's going to be exciting. Yeah. I should be hopefully at San Diego. As of right now, the plan is I will be at San Diego. So hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, I'll see you down there.
We get to link up for sure and get to chat about all the exciting things. I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con. Been to the others.
Never been. You've never been?
I've not been. No, this could be my first one, which it's the bucket list, it's everyone's big dream con. We've done all the other big ones, but this is the crescendo.
It's something. It's not like any other convention. That it's something to see. I mean, yeah, there's some great aspects to it for sure. You got to hunt down your favorite comic creators, because the favorite comic creators are all at publisher booths, or some of them are in Artist Alley, but it's not like a New York or C2E2 or Emerald City where like you just have an Artist Alley that's full of everyone. A lot of the comic creators are running around, but then if you go to the couple of the special bar cons, then you get to see everybody drinking there. So that's always
I want to go to that.
You already know. I mean, that's why we have beer in the name. We like to hit up the breweries and do stuff at the breweries in town. So maybe we'll have to plan.
Yeah, if you're down there for sure, we'll link up. Yeah, San Diego's a good one.
It's a beautiful city too, and I can't wait to get there. Lauren, as we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts, questions, or things? You've been frozen on my screen. I don't know if you realized, Lauren, so I haven't been able to take social cues at all.
I thought she was just really attentive.
I hope it's not in an awkward position where
it's in a pretty funny position. Obviously, I'm gonna have to send a nice picture, but I can't take social cues from you. Just a heads up. But do you have any final thoughts?
No, I hope to get San Diego Comic-Con one year. I don't know why I decided to have a kid in July. Terrible decision.
Stupid. Mine are all in December and October, like an idiot. But you know what? That's your fault. Go back in time, get a time machine, and think forward.
What you tell her, you're getting her tickets to Comic-Con for her birthday, and then everyone's meeting
happy.
Everyone be so annoying.
I bet you the Stranger Things cast will be there, and she loves Stranger Things. There you go.
She does love Stranger Things. She's lucky she got to come to MegaCon one day this past year.
That's true.
I've always wanted to make it to MegaCon.
Well, if you ever do, that's my local con, so I'm always there.
Yeah, that's the one we hit every year. If you get to hopefully go, next year, whatever, that's one that we're at, and that's a good time too.
I would love to make it to that one. That's on my bucket list for sure.
March next year. I don't know why they decided to do spring break, but they did. So
it's
come
chaos.
Spring break at
March.
MegaCon.
Is it March or March next year?
Yep, it's in March.
I can make this happen. You know what? We'll have to hit him up and be like, hey, this is who we request. Let's get it going.
Yeah, tell him.
He's got a big second half of 2025. So it means a perfect time for it too.
I mean, to write, like, in addition to everything, I probably like 4 or 5 books that I'm working on that are for 26. So it's
There's
yeah, so I'll have
Man.
plenty more for the spring and March of next year. So
there we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
No excuse. You gotta
I
come.
know. No excuse there. Dude, it's always great getting a chat with you. Thank
So
you
great.
for coming on talking about this.
Thank
People,
you.
seriously, if you haven't read Kill All Immortals yet, you can just pick up, the trade now, catch up, because this summer they're going to hit the ground running. And I promise you it's worth every second of your time. It is a very good comic book. So Zach, thank you so much for hanging out with us again,
Thank
man.
you, Matt. Thank you, Lauren. Great to see you both.
As
you.
always, yes. Make sure you guys go ahead, check out Free Comic Book Day. Since you're going to be in there already this weekend, now is the time to just go and pick up this book while you're there. I'm just saying, pick it up. You got no excuses. We'll see everybody next time. Cheers, everybody.